My name is Brad Frost, and I'm a web designer, speaker, author, and consultant based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And today's class is all about creating successful design systems and introducing the atomic design methodology. So the first thing we're going to do is have a quick refresher of what exactly is a design system. The definition that I tend to use is that a design system is the canonical story of how your organization designs and builds digital products. I like to put this through the lens of a new hire. You hire a smart, talented person, and they're inevitably going to ask, so how do we do things here, right? How do we design? How do we develop? And when you have a design system, you could answer that question by directing them in the direction of the design system. You could say, here is the story of how we do things here, right? Here's what design language we use. Here's what code conventions we use. Here's all the other things that help paint the picture for anyone designing and building digital products at the company. There's a lot of different ingredients to a design system, and generally they take the shape of a couple different things. There's the tangible artifacts of a design system, the actual UI components, which are sort of the bread and butter of a design system, as well as design resources and icons and things like that. But then there's also the overarching guidelines on how to use these artifacts. Think about it like IKEA furniture. You have the actual parts of the IKEA furniture, right, that you dump out onto the table and eventually assemble into the finished product. But without an instruction manual, it's going to be a tough go, right? So you technically can do it with just a kit of parts, but at the same time, that instruction manual helps provide some context and guidance for how to thoughtfully put these things together to save your hair and your sanity. And which ingredients your design system includes is going to depend on what your organization, what your teams need in order to successfully design and build products. So your design system might include things like design principles, design tokens, UX guidelines, writing guidelines, voice and tone guidelines, development guidelines, the actual coded UI components, design resources like a sketch UI kit, icon system, internal and external resources to other things linking out to best practices on popular resource sites like Smashing Magazine or CSS Tricks, things like that. Page templates, common flows and UX patterns, brand guidelines. There's so many different ingredients to a design system. And again, which ingredients your design system contains is going to very much depend on your organization and team's needs. It's no surprise why so many organizations are investing in design systems, because they provide a ton of different benefits. They provide benefits to the end user by providing more consistent, cohesive experiences. As users travel from one part of a site to another, or from one product to another, they're greeted with a very similar feeling experience. And this is important for a lot of different reasons, because anytime a user has to relearn a new interface pattern, let's say they encounter a date picker across 4 different sections of a site, and each time that date picker is different, they have to relearn, however slightly, relearn the UI conventions for selecting a date. But by having one date picker provided by the design system, the cognition involved in making that decision by choosing that date lessens, which allows them to get done what they need to get done faster, which of course is good for them, but also good for the business because they're able to maybe check out faster, book a flight or book a hotel. Whatever the task is at hand is good for the company's bottom line, as well as respecting the user's time and attention. And while the benefits to the users are big, the real benefits of a design system are mostly internal. They're for the benefit of the teams actually producing the work. The designers, the developers, the QA people, the product people, all of those people benefit greatly from having a design system. The first big benefit of having a design system for a team is that it allows them to launch work faster. And why this is the case is because we historically had to repeat a lot of unnecessary redundant work, right? We have a hero unit for our homepage, and we have these 3 touts or these 3 cards, and every time we have a new page that needs those components, those heroes or those touts, we had to reinvent them again and again and again, and oftentimes with subtle or even sometimes completely different implementation details. So rather than having to reinvent the card component for the 15th time, the team could instead grab the existing card component from the design system, plug it in, and then focus their efforts on bigger and better tasks. Design systems provide the benefit of launching higher quality work because, again, they're not reinventing things and reinventing the wheel over and over and over again, which means that they can instead iterate over those same UI components and those same patterns, baking in better accessibility, flexibility, responsive stuff, localization, animation, all of that stuff means that the quality of the work, the quality of these UI components are elevated with each new iteration. Design systems provide a shared vocabulary that helps bring together different disciplines and different product teams so that they're all on the same page and all speaking the same language. So rather than the developers calling a component the utility bar and the designers calling it the admin bar and the product team calling it the gray bar across the top, you're able to establish a common vocabulary for what that thing is actually called, allowing teams to skip over having to have a meeting to discuss the nomenclature to make sure that you're all on the same page. Design systems also make testing easier, allowing teams to isolate an individual component and stress test it against responsive design best practices, accessibility best practices, performance best practices, and so on. So by testing things at the component level and baking in those best practices at the component level, anywhere those components get included will automatically get those benefits for free. Design systems and their accompanying style guides also provide a useful reference for teams, designers, and developers to refer to as they do their day-to-day work. When do you choose an accordion versus tabs? You could refer to your style guide to see when to use one component or another, or what to name a component, or what conventions you want to use. By having that shared resource to go to, it helps all of the team's workflows go more smoothly. And then lastly, a design system provides a future-friendly foundation to build upon for years to come. This is a great thing about design systems, is that it's very foundational. You're not going to solve all of your organization's problems in V1 of your design system. But what having a design system allows is for iteration and improvement over time. By establishing conventions and establishing components and building upon them as time goes on, the team and the quality of the work is able to go up and up and up as time goes on. And even if you were to do a massive redesign of your entire organization's visual identity and color palette and all that stuff, you still are going to have buttons, you're still going to have cards, you're still going to have typography and iconography and things like that. So you don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. So the design system can remain as your ongoing design language evolves.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe to stay up to date on all of our latest videos.